If you are new to this series, we have been going through every single national title claim in college football history for the FBS or highest level at the time it was claimed. At this time, we have covered all the teams that have claimed 5 titles or less and are moving on to the higher numbers. Please go back and watch those for me after this if you enjoy this sort of thing. Prior to the college football playoffs and BCS national title game, we relied only on the polls to determine the college football national champion, with some formulas and short-lived systems in between attempting to better things. The polling system failed many times, with as many as 4 to 6 teams in contention that never even played each other. This often resulted in many split national championship years. Prior to 1965, some polls voted on their national champions before the bowl games were even played, and then saw their champion lose their final game. If you go back a little further, the first attempt to straighten things out came in 1936 with the creation of the AP poll, and was often the most respected poll for many years. But even then, the early media had their biases and favorites due to what they were familiar with. If all the writers and voters only saw Notre Dame or Yale, they would have no way to compare it to what was going on down south or out west, and usually just sided with what they knew. Prior to the AP, we had a wild, lawless 67 years of college football where many or no teams called themselves national champions, and a lot of those teams didn't even claim national titles in this era until more modern polls went back and retroactively named them national champions. While the AP poll is often the benchmark for a champion from 1936 to 1998, I would still argue that point. If the AP named you champion and nobody else did, that smells a bit fishy. Personally, I tend to side with what a majority of the polls say. So if the AP says you are the champ, but 11 others don't, I look deeper into the situation. And that's just me. You are free to do or think whatever you like.
Jerry, just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
And of course, I view any titles won through the playoffs or BCS title game as automatically 100% legit from the start of the video, even if you disagree with the selection committee. And yes, I have also disagreed with them plenty of times. On the flip side, any that claim a separate title outside of those official parameters I view as complete bullshit, whether the selection committee screwed said team or not. History is history, and I respect that fact even if I dislike that fact. For the purposes of this channel, I'm only going by what the school actually claims. I will do a series covering unclaimed titles later on. I have added a layer to my tiers and now broken them down into 5 sections. 100% legit, debatable but fair, I see your argument but no, complete bullshit, and introducing 1941 Alabama, which will be reserved for the most imaginary or dumb claims that exist. Boomer Sooner, baby. No, I'm not actually an Oklahoma fan, though you would think I am sometimes. I don't know what happened. One day I found a DVD set of the history of Oklahoma football and watched it for fun. Then I read Barry Switzer's book, as I am a big fan of the coach himself, and suddenly I know an awful lot about them. So while not a fan, I am an admirer of what I consider one of the best programs in college football history. Players, coaches, rivalries, championships, and so on. There are a lot of legends and fun in each aspect of that history. Throw those horns down, and let's check out these 7 claims. And yes, we will check out some of the many unclaimed in a future series. Under legendary coach Bud Wilkinson in his 4th season, we have the Sooners' first claim in 1950. Oklahoma started the season ranked number 6 after a perfect 1949 brought high expectations. The team went perfect through the regular season with key wins over the likes of number 4 Texas 14-13 and number 16 Nebraska 49-35. In the Sugar Bowl, Oklahoma was defeated 13-7 by number 7 Kentucky, coached by Bear Bryant. Now, as a reminder to everyone, the AP poll would not permanently start naming champions after the bowls until 1968, and the coaches poll not until 1974. The bowl games prior to this were viewed as an exhibition game, and thus did not matter in their eyes in crowning a champion. Now, here's how I have personally been navigating it in this series. Just because you lose your bowl does not mean I will automatically trash you. If such a loss happens and nobody else claims the year, easy enough. If it happens and one other team claims it, but the loss doesn't make you seem weaker than that team, okay. But if this happens and more deserving teams are right there, what we actually have is a full-blown mistake. And yes, this logic could be applied to the BCS and CFP a few times, but my difference in accepting those is because the entire nation pretty much adopted that the BCS and CFP was or is the ultimate goal. The goal in 1950 was to win over the selectors, and there were many, so you just had to hope the right people liked what you did and called you a champion. 1950 Oklahoma was named consensus national champion before the bowl loss. 3 other teams claimed the title this season, those being Kentucky, Tennessee, and Princeton. I said I saw Kentucky's argument, but no, and for more context, check out the video including them. Princeton was 9-0 and didn't play a bowl game. It would be hard in my mind to reward a team that played no bowl game and 2 less games overall, plus they weren't even ranked very high. So as I said in the Tennessee video, we are left with the Vols being the other contender, who beat Kentucky, who beat Oklahoma, but also had the worst loss of them all. This is really a battle of the Vols versus Sooners. If not for Tennessee, Kentucky would easily be my 100% pick and Bear Bryant's first national title. Had Oklahoma just not played a bowl game, they would have easily been 100%. I ended up calling Tennessee fair. Please do check out that video as well. In this case, the bowl loss doesn't make me think of Oklahoma any less than Tennessee, so they'll share things at debatable but fair. While not a great look, it doesn't damn them below the Vols in any way. 1955, still under Coach Wilkinson in Season 9, is our next claim. 1954 had been perfect, but the team got undercut and left out of title consideration. The Sooners began the season ranked number 3 and got through a tough first half of the season and blasted through the second. Key wins came over number 12 Pitt 26-14, Texas 20-0, number 14 Colorado 56-21, and Nebraska 41-0. Oklahoma entered the Orange Bowl ranked number 1 and already named consensus national champion. In that one, the Sooners cruised past number 3 and also undefeated Maryland 20-6 to leave No Doubt at 11-0. Well, no doubt to everyone but 9-1 Michigan State, but I called their claim bullshit, which you can of course hear all about in that video. Also, a side note, this season and the next came in the midst of the Sooners' standing record 47-game winning streak. Okay, so that last part probably leaves little suspense here for our 1956 claim, but just humor me. The Sooners began their title defense ranked number 1. They did drop to number 2 briefly after 4 games, but reclaimed the top spot permanently afterwards. The only ranked win came against number 18 Colorado on the road 27-19. Due to a no-repeat clause within the Big 8 Conference, the team was not invited to the Orange Bowl. Instead, Colorado went and won, somewhat validating Oklahoma, even without having to do anything. The Sooners were named consensus national champions again, and are again 100% legit. Iowa also claims this title, and in their video, I called the claim complete bullshit. For our next claim, we leave the 50s behind and jump all the way to 1974. Coach Wilkinson was long gone, and Chuck Fairbanks had knocked on the door to glory again in the late 60s and early 70s. Barry Switzer came in and kicked that door open. In his first season, he had gone 10-0-1, so 1974 was looking good, opening the season at number 1. The Sooners got past Baylor in Game 1 28-11 before opening up a can of whoop-ass on Utah State 72-3 and Wake Forest 63-0. The next one was a big-time Red River shootout against number 17 Texas, in which the Sooners escaped with a 16-13 win. Another huge point was on November 23rd, when the number 1 ranked Sooners took care of number 6 Nebraska 28-14 and went on to finish 11-0, and did not play in a bowl game due to probation. Oklahoma was named AP Poll National Champion among others, and look, probation should be mentioned, but if the polls are still going to consider them for titles, then so will I. USC also claims this title as the Coaches Bowl champion, along with a few other selectors. I've not yet done a USC video, but the Trojans lost to an Arkansas team that would go on to finish 6-4-1 by a score of 22-7, and tied an unranked Cal team with a similar record. Despite having a good finish, I don't value this title much for the 10-1-1 Trojans, and I'm giving this 100% to Oklahoma. The following year of 1975 saw the Sooners start at number 1 naturally. Things started out well. Game 1 was a 62-7 thumping of Oregon. Game 2 was a stomping of number 15 Pitt 46-10. Game 4 was a thrilling survival 21-20 over number 19 Colorado. Game 5 was a 24-17 win over number 5 Texas. And Game 8 was a triumph over rival number 18 Oklahoma State 27-7. But suddenly, out of nowhere, Oklahoma got stunned 23-3 at home to unranked Kansas. The loss dropped the Sooners to number 6, but the team finished strong with a 28-27 win over number 18 Missouri, a 35-10 win over number 2 Nebraska, and capped it all with a win over number 5 Michigan 14-6 in the Orange Bowl. At 11-1, the team was named consensus national champion. Now you could make an argument here, but nobody else claims it, so the claim is easily 100%. There was a 12-0 team this season who were named champions by a few selectors, but they only played 2 ranked teams compared to OU's 7. More on them in a future series. Now, I should tell you, I wrote an entire parody to sing on this one set to Bowling for Soup's 1985. It was cringy, terrible, but hilariously creative. After doing some research though, people have gotten hit with harsh copyright claims from the music industry, even when changing lyrics and leaving out the music. So, that idea is unfortunately not happening. In 1985, the Sooners began ranked number 2 and started out 3-0. In Game 4, they lost to Miami 27-14, who were surprisingly unranked at the time, considering all the Canes' success in the 80s. Now ranked number 10, Oklahoma ran the tables, beating the likes of number 2 Nebraska 27-7 and number 17 Oklahoma State 13-0 to enter the Orange Bowl ranked number 3 to take on number 1 Penn State. The Sooners held a 16-10 halftime lead and just piled it on from there, winning 25-10. The team was named consensus national champion yet again, and yet again nobody outside of Bowling for Soup claims 1985. This one is 100% legit, and so is my unsung parody. Oh well, I saved myself the embarrassment. Okay, so you already know where I'm going to rank this one, but let's have a look anyway. Oklahoma in 2000 was not exactly expected to be this good. 1999 saw the team go 7-5, and they began the new millennium ranked 19th. After a weak few weeks wielded expected perfection, the real challenges began. And how did OU handle those challenges? By beating number 11 Texas 63-14, number 2 Kansas State 41-31, and number 1 Nebraska 31-14 in the span of 1 month. Now, the Sooners had risen to number 1 and stayed there. They beat number 8 Kansas State again, this time in the Big 12 Championship 27-24, and then beat number 3 Florida State 13-2 in the BCS national title game. This team, led by Josh Heupel by the way, is 100% legit. That's a lot of claims and not a lot of argument. Of course, a few could have been debated if other teams made a claim, but I still think the Sooners would have had the better argument in those cases. Lately in this series, I've been ending with my thoughts on if I think the team in question will be adding to the trophy case anytime soon, like within the next 5 to 10 years. So this one is complicated, and I thought about it for a while. The Sooners recruit well, as you would expect, and are always right there. They have made the playoffs 5 times, which is tied for the 4th most all time. Here is where I hesitate. They are 0-5 in those appearances. This puts me in a corner where I feel like they need to prove it to me, and maybe you as well. They can handle being in the SEC, they can win a big game or two, and they can easily make the playoffs in 8 out of the next 10 years. But when you're 0-5 in the previous 11 years, can we all agree that this is a I'll believe it when I see it kind of situation? And remember, for whatever reason, I'm usually cheering for them. They have all the resources and talent to win a championship if they can put all the pieces together. So, I'm actually going to say no, especially if we're staying within the next 5 years and not 10. And I'd lean towards no with a 10-year deadline as well. They've made nearly half of every playoff field since it rolled out and have not won a single game. Now, before you even say it, I did say yes to Tennessee, and I could see why you might view the two in a similar way. Here is my logic in differing those two. Tennessee went from bad to average to contenders. They are seemingly on an upward swing and have probably not peaked yet. And remember, I say that as a Tennessee hater. Oklahoma has pretty much stayed in a consistent state of great, but not great enough for about 20 years. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. So yeah, I could easily be wrong about this one. Even in 2025, a little more firepower on offense and that stout defense, and they're probably more of a threat just last season at the time of this recording. But I just have a gut feeling that by 2036, they will have been to the dance 4 to 6 more times, with surely a win or two, but no championships. But I won't be mad if I'm wrong. Keep at it, guys. Boomer Sooner. And there we go. If you feel I was unfair or missed a piece of info, go ahead and make your case in the comments. Please go check out the other videos in this series. There is a playlist for them, and we are in the final stretch. And remember, this is just one guy on YouTube who did some research and gave an opinion. I'm sure I won't change any fanbase's opinion on the titles they choose to boast about, and certain fanbases have made that pretty clear thus far. This has been College Football Chronicles, and I hope you join me next time.